in the last section, you talked about perfect monopolies. In this section, we're going to talk about, last section we talked about how the competition is perfect, and in this section we'll talk about how the competition is imperfect. So we're going to talk about monopolies, Chapter 7, Section 2. Monopolies form when barriers prevent firms from entering a market that has a single supplier, like pharmaceuticals, medicine. We're going to talk about our economics of scale. As firm startup costs are high, which is usually an investment for a company, and its average cost for each additional unit it produces. So, So if we head over to this graph right here over hydroelectric power, let's say if there was a company, they want to make profit. So they invest $100 million to make a hydroelectric power plant or a dam. This is their initial investment right here, $1 million. And over time, what they'll be producing is gallons of water, and those gallons of water is the output. And again, over time, they'll be maximizing their profits and eventually reach zero, and they would have paid off the $100 million. And then once they paid off the $100 million, anything going down past the graph at this x-axis right here is just profit for the company. They just start making money at that point. So natural monopolies are a market that runs most efficiently when one large firm provides all of the output. So if two firms, that says one firm. So if another firm comes into play, if a second firm comes into the market, the competition will drive the market down and the price charged for people. And it will decrease the quantity of each firm that can sell. And one or both, or maybe more firms will not recover from their costs, and they'll go out of business. So, an example is public water as a natural monopoly. All right, technology and change. Technology destroys natural monopolies because of development of new technology. New things come out, so people move away from the old things and they want the new things. So a new innovation can cut their fixed costs, but make small companies as efficient as a large firm. So for example, back in the 1900s, they used telephone copper wires, and many of those companies were producing those copper wires. And so there's only one company producing those, and other people didn't see a need to produce those wires because they already were producing them in masses. And then in the late 80s, they came out with the radio waves, and so that small business that created those radio waves, because of that new innovation, that small company became as efficient as those telephone copper wires, and the profits kept increasing, and people made their wireless telephones, and now we don't use their copper wired telephones. Like in your house, you don't have a house phone anymore, you have your cell phone. And then one more thing, over for your natural monopolies is if, according to this graph, let's say for example pharmaceuticals, these are output number of pharmaceuticals that are produced here on the x-axis, and the y-axis is how much they're charging for each pharmaceutical. So let's say if the company produced 8,000 pharmaceuticals during that time period for $12, right? If they were to produce more, and people weren't buying as much, the demand is going to decrease right here. And so they would have to be producing, if they produce 11,000, they'll have to drop their price to $9. And then over here at your presentation, this is your vocab that you need to know.